Have you ever felt like you were on a journey of growth, only to find yourself walking in circles? You read the books, you listen to the podcasts, you meditate, you journal, and you set powerful intentions for your life. Yet, despite all your efforts, a familiar feeling of not being good enough, or a subtle anxiety, keeps pulling you back. It's like taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back over and over again. This experience is incredibly common, and it's not a sign that you are failing. It is often a sign that you have taken a hidden detour, one that looks like progress, but is actually fueled by something else entirely: fear. This detour is a path many of us unknowingly walk. We believe we are moving toward enlightenment, toward peace, toward a higher version of ourselves. But what if the very energy driving us is keeping us stuck? What if the urgency to fix ourselves is rooted in a fear that we are fundamentally broken? It's a subtle yet powerful distinction. True spiritual growth is not about running away from who you are right now. It is about turning toward yourself with compassion and understanding. It's about building a foundation of self-acceptance, not a frantic escape from perceived flaws. This journey isn't about becoming someone new, but about remembering the wholeness that was always there. Fear is a master of disguise. It can wear the mask of discipline, of ambition, or even of spiritual devotion. It can whisper in your ear that you must be more, do more, and achieve more to be worthy of peace and happiness. It tells you that rest is lazy, and that self-acceptance is complacency. We start to believe that the spiritual path is a relentless climb, a constant battle against our lower nature. But this perspective can trap us in a cycle of striving and exhaustion. The truth is, your journey is unique to you. It doesn't have to be a struggle. It can be a gentle unfolding, a dance of learning and unlearning, guided by love instead of fear. So, let's pause for a moment and ask ourselves a powerful question. Is our spiritual practice bringing us closer to a state of inner calm, or is it adding another layer of pressure to our lives? Are we seeking growth from a place of curiosity and love, or from a place of anxiety and self-rejection? Recognizing the difference is the first most crucial step toward getting back on the main road. It's the moment we realize that the destination we seek isn't at the top of a faraway mountain. It is right here, within us, waiting to be discovered. It's time to stop running and start arriving. So, what exactly are these patterns that keep us stuck? I call them entrapment loops. Think of them as invisible cages we build around ourselves, constructed from our deepest fears. These loops are repetitive cycles of thought, emotion, and behavior that feel productive but ultimately lead us right back to where we started. They are powered by the belief that if we just try a little harder or find the right secret, we will finally break free. But the loop itself is the problem, not our effort. It's a hamster wheel that looks and feels like a path forward, but it is designed to keep us running in place, forever chasing a feeling of resolution that never quite arrives. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine someone who fears being abandoned. To cope with this fear, they might enter an entrapment loop of people-pleasing. They believe, if I am perfectly kind, helpful, and agreeable, no one will ever leave me. They spend all their energy trying to meet everyone else's needs, often at the expense of their own. For a short time, it might seem to work, but eventually, they feel resentful and drained. Or someone inevitably disappoints them, triggering the original fear of abandonment all over again. The loop is complete. The solution, being perfect, was actually just a fear-based strategy that reinforced the problem. Another common entrapment loop is the information-seeking loop. This is for those of us who believe knowledge is the key to safety. We feel anxious about the future, so we dive into an endless search for answers. We read every self-help book, watch every guru on YouTube, and attend every webinar, convinced that the next piece of information will be the one that finally solves our anxiety. But the search itself becomes the obsession. We become collectors of wisdom instead of practitioners of it. The temporary relief of learning something new is quickly replaced by the anxiety of what we don't know yet, and so the loop continues. We are trapped not by ignorance, but by our compulsive need for certainty. These loops are so powerful because they masquerade as spiritual or personal growth. They feel like we are doing the work. People-pleasing can look like compassion. Constant information-seeking can look like a thirst for wisdom. Obsessive self-analysis can look like deep inner work. But the defining feature of an entrapment loop is its fuel source, fear. It's a strategy designed to avoid a feeling we are scared of, rather than a practice designed to cultivate a feeling we desire, like peace or joy. Understanding this allows us to see the cage for what it is, and once you can see the bars, you can find the door. One of the most seductive entrapment loops is what I call the ladder trap. This is the belief that spiritual growth is a linear climb, a ladder we must ascend to reach a state of perfection, purity, or enlightenment. Each rung represents a new level of better, more disciplined, more positive, more detached, more loving. We see others who seem to be higher up on the ladder, and feel a sense of urgency to catch up. This mindset turns our spiritual journey into a competition, either with others, or with a version of ourselves that we feel we should be. It is a game of constant self-evaluation, and it is a game we can never truly win. The ladder trap is fueled by a deep-seated fear of not being good enough. Every time we slip up, make a mistake, or feel a negative emotion, we feel as though we have fallen down a few rungs. This creates a sense of shame and frustration, which then motivates us to climb even harder. We tell ourselves, once I finally stop feeling angry, or once I can meditate for an hour without distraction, then I will have arrived. Then I will be worthy of peace. But this then is a moving target. The top of the ladder is a mirage that recedes every time we think we are getting closer, because the very act of striving keeps us locked in a state of dissatisfaction. This endless pursuit of improvement is exhausting. It keeps us focused on what is wrong with us, rather than appreciating what is right. We become hypercritical of our thoughts, our feelings, and our behaviors. We might even start to judge others for not being as evolved as we are trying to be. This is fear disguising itself as high standards. True growth is not about eradicating our human flaws. It is about integrating them. It is about learning to hold our anger with compassion, our sadness with tenderness, and our imperfections with grace. The goal is not to become a flawless saint on a pedestal, but to become a whole human being, grounded in reality. Instead of a ladder, a much healthier metaphor for growth is a spiral. On a spiral path, we often revisit the same core lessons and themes throughout our lives. It might feel like we are going in circles, but each time we come around to an old issue, we are seeing it from a higher level of awareness, and with a greater capacity for understanding. It's not a setback, it's a deepening of our wisdom. This perspective allows for patience, for grace, and for the reality of human experience. It frees us from the pressure of linear progress, and allows us to simply be on the journey, trusting that every twist and turn is part of the path home to ourselves. How do you know if you are climbing a ladder to nowhere or walking in a fear-based loop? The signs are often subtle, woven into the fabric of our daily thoughts and feelings. One of the most common signs is a persistent feeling of spiritual anxiety. This is kind of like a low-grade hum of pressure that tells you you're not doing enough, or not doing it right. You might finish your meditation and immediately feel guilty that your mind wandered. Or you might read an inspiring quote and feel a wave of inadequacy because you're not living up to it. Instead of feeling lighter and more joyful from your practices, you feel a heavier sense of obligation. Your spiritual to-do list becomes just another source of stress. Another clear sign is an all-or-nothing mindset. You might feel like you are either spiritually on or off. On good days you feel enlightened and connected, but on bad days when you feel irritable or unmotivated, you feel like a complete failure. There is no middle ground, no room for basic human messiness. This black and white thinking is a hallmark of fear. Fear cannot handle nuance. It needs clear categories of good and bad, safe and unsafe. If you find yourself swinging between feelings of spiritual superiority and deep shame, you are likely caught in a loop. True spiritual maturity allows for the gray areas. It allows you to be a masterpiece and a work in progress simultaneously. Pay attention to your internal language. Are you constantly trying to get rid of or conquer parts of yourself? Do you talk about fighting your ego, killing your desires, or overcoming your fears? While the intention might be noble, this language of violence against the self is a red flag. It frames your inner world as a battlefield rather than a community. It creates an internal war where one part of you is pitted against another. This internal conflict is the very definition of being stuck. A more healing approach involves language of integration and acceptance. Instead of fighting your fear, you learn to listen to it. Instead of killing your ego, you learn to befriend it. Finally, a crucial sign is a growing disconnect from your own intuition. When you are in an entrapment loop, you tend to outsource your power. You look to gurus, teachers, or systems to give you all the answers. You follow rules rigidly without checking in to see if they truly resonate with your own inner wisdom. You might ignore that quiet voice inside you that says, "This doesn't feel right for me," because you are afraid of breaking a spiritual rule. When you start to value an external authority more than your own internal compass, you are giving away your freedom. Your intuition is your most reliable guide, and losing touch with it is a sure sign you've wandered off your authentic path. Breaking free from these entrapment loops is not about another grand effort or a new, more perfect strategy. In fact, it's the opposite. It is a gentle turning inward, a radical act of self-acceptance. The first step is simply to acknowledge the loop without judgment. See the pattern. Notice the fear that drives it. Say to yourself, there is that old story again. The one that says, "I am not safe unless I am perfect." By observing it with curiosity instead of criticism, you take away its power. You are no longer in the story, you are the one watching it. This simple shift in perspective creates space, and in that space, you can make a new choice. The next step is to befriend your fear. We spend so much energy trying to run from fear, to ignore it, or to destroy it, but fear is not your enemy. It is a primal part of you that is trying to keep you safe. It may be using outdated strategies, but its intention is protective. Instead of fighting it, try turning toward it with kindness. You might literally say, "Hello, fear, I see you. Thank you for trying to protect me, but I am safe now. I am in charge." This practice of compassionate acknowledgement soothes the nervous system. It tells the frightened part of you that it is seen and heard. When fear feels safe, it doesn't have to scream so loudly, and its grip begins to loosen. This is where you reclaim your personal power. Remember that you are always at choice. You do not have to obey the frantic commands of your fear. You can choose to act from a place of love and self-trust instead. This might look like choosing rest when your fear screams at you to be more productive. It might look like saying no when the people-pleaser inside you is terrified of disappointing someone. It might look like putting down the self-help book and going for a walk in nature instead. Each small choice that is aligned with self-compassion rather than self-criticism weakens the entrapment loop and strengthens your connection to your authentic self. You are the author of your own journey. Ultimately, true growth is not about eliminating fear, but about integrating it. It's about expanding your capacity to hold all parts of your human experience, the light and the shadow, the joy and the pain, with unconditional love. Your worth is not conditional. It does not depend on how enlightened you become or how many flaws you fix. You are inherently worthy right now in this very moment. Trust your own path. It will not always be a straight line, but it is yours. Let go of the ladder and start walking on the earth. Embrace the spiral. The freedom you are seeking is not at the end of the road, it is in the way you choose to walk it.